Hello everyone, in this tutorial on Overte, we are going to show you how to use and create scripts. Now we are not going to very much detail here, but I'm going to show you the basics of using a script. First of all, to use a script, go to the Run Scripts window. And here you can do reveal the scripts folder that shows you all the scripts that's pre-installed. If you have Visual Studio Code, you can view them in a more straightforward way. So those are all the scripts. So for instance, the create cow is a very funny script I'm going to show you next. And to run any of the script, you can do is find the script and just do load. That's going to run it once, right? So it's going to run and finish it, so it's not going to show up here. And the panel here actually shows all the scripts that's always running, including all your GUI stuff. So that's the way you can use a script. Now to create your own script, it works kind of similar. You can of course put your stuff inside this folder, but more practically, especially you have your own server, what you are going to do is to have some folder. Like in my case, I have the folder here on my local, and I created two scripts. I'm going to introduce two different kinds of scripts. The one is called a client entity script. The other one is called a server entity script. The difference between the two is the client entity script runs on your client. In this case, it's kind of like running on behalf of you in this interface, right? Remember, the viewer program is actually called interface. So you're going to use the API, and it's going to imitate your actions or be responsive to your inputs. So that's the client side scripts. The server side, the server end scripts is running on the server, and it's going to always be running. So it's not dependent on the particular user. And then let me show you what it means. The first one we are going to do is a very simple one from the official documentation. By the way, whenever you all have questions, you should always consult the documentation. It's very thorough on this. Go to script, you can see write your own script, and here the client entity script that we are going to show and the server entity script are all coming from this page. So here, let's create a simple object. I'm going to use a shape, and I'm going to make it bigger. So that's a shape. Right? And to assign a script, you need to make sure the script is available on the internet. And there are a few ways you can do that. One of the simplest ways is to upload it to your server. Sorry, not this one. So edit as a browser, upload your scripts. So uploading script is just like uploading anything else, and I have already done it. So change color and flicker light, that's the one we have here. I have already uploaded those ones. I'm going to actually explain what they do in a bit, but for now let's take a look at the effect. So I have already uploaded those ones. Now back in create, if we select this one, you can go to the behavior tab or scripts tab, and you can specify the script or server script. Scripts specifies the client entity script. So here you just paste the URL. So you can go to right click and copy URL and paste it here, and click this one to update it. So this one has the effect of, oh, it's not working actually. Let me see whether this is the latest one. Yeah, this is actually a good example. So this is the version we have, and notice it's actually different from the version here. Where exactly it's different. Let me show you where exactly is the difference. So to the right is the one on the website, to the left is one we have. If you check, you can see there's a slight difference here, a semicolon, right? So you actually should not have this semicolon. Make sure it looks exactly like this, and then I'm going to re-upload my script. Change color, script change color, okay. Override, yes. Now select this guy. You can see it's already working, right? So just make sure it loads, and then what it does is, let me close this. It looks a bit weird. It does is every time you click on this box, the color changes. Let's take a look at the API, how it works. So basically, it has a state. Now this syntax creates something like a class, and this is a local variable. Whenever this event is triggered, this function is going to be called. And if it's true, we change color to something. If it's false, we change color to something else. So that is how it works. The flicker light is slightly more complex, but basically it's going to randomize the intensity of the light object by using the entities edit entity. Now this particular API, they also have an example here, I think, edit entity, right? So here you can see more details of the API. Basically, entities is a main class you use whenever you want to do stuff, and then edit entity passing the entity ID and the properties you want to modify. So this one, we are going to specify it as a server entity script. And the reason for that is, if we don't specify it as a server entity script, then all the clients, all the users will be trying to modify the light, which doesn't quite make sense, right? Instead, if it's a server entity script, then only the server is modifying the light, and that makes sense because we have a single copy of truth. So to do that, what we can do is, let's create a light. Oops, sorry, wrong button. Create a light and move it over here. And it's almost the same. Go to the script, paste the server script here. I'm going to find the URL, paste it over here, make sure it's updating, and you can see it's already working, right? It's flickering already. So that's it. So that's how you can do server script and client script. Now there are some interesting features I want to mention. If you go to settings, developer menu, you will have the developer menu. You can go to scripting, there's a console, there is also a script log which prints all the stuff. For instance, if you just, I think it should, oh actually it doesn't, I'm surprised. If I go to create, yeah, see, even if you do some GUI stuff, it's going to print useful information in the debug log. But you can test API here, for instance console, you can do print, you can do hello world, you can learn API this way. There's something called my avatar, right? So it has something called location or position. Okay, actually I don't quite remember. You can find it here. Where is it? My avatar position. Oh, actually it should print. Yeah, so it should print, but position is a compound, so it's a bit complex for it to print, to visualize. What you can do is to use to streamify it and do my avatar dot position, and you can see the whole value, right? So just want to point out those two handy features to allow you to experiment with the API right here inside the viewer. Alright, so that's how you can use scripts and create your own scripts in Overte. Hopefully in the future we can dig more and I can walk through some of the interesting APIs, but for now that's it, and thank you for watching.